All right, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Before I get started, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles and my elders of Great Millstone who lead, teach, and rule well. Love and honor to my fellow Akim, pushing the word in true faith and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom, peace and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers of the Men and Doctrine of Great Millstone. This is the brother Edified from GMS Atlanta Church, coming with another lesson through the Spirit. It's going to be based off of this article here from zerohedge.com from today, August 24th, 2022. And it reads, Tsunami of shutoffs. 1 in 6 U.S. homes are behind on power bills. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so it says at least 20 million households, or about 1 in 6 American homes, are behind on their power bills as soaring electricity prices spark what is said to be the worst ever crisis in late utility payments, according to Bloomberg. So, and this article here is on Zero Hedge, but it's also referencing an article on Bloomberg going into this particular subject as far as these American households being behind on their power bills. But like it says 20 million households, or about 1 in 6 American homes. So when you think about it, whether you live in an apartment complex, townhome, a single family neighborhood home, when you think about it, if you look around, as far as with your neighbors, for every 6 households, one of those households is behind on their power bills, man. That's a very high number of households. And, it's going to get into the article too, as far as the particular dollar amounts. It's an astronomical dollar amount that a lot of households are actually behind in these power bills, man. So it says, or about 1 in 6 American homes are behind on their power bills as soaring electricity prices spark what is said to be the worst ever crisis in late utility payments, according to Bloomberg, citing data from the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, which is the acronym there is NEADA. It says NEADA said electricity prices had increased significantly since 2020 after a decade of stagnation. Stagnation is pretty much staying the same. But these electricity prices have increased significantly since 2020. It says the steep rise has resulted in billions of dollars in overdue power bills. So it's billions of dollars of overdue power bills. It says electricity inflation is being propelled by soaring costs of fossil fuels such as natural gas, coal, and petroleum. And then you see here a chart. It says electricity gets a jolt. U.S. Electricity Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers from roughly 2000 up until today. And you see the dramatic increase, as far as the price of electricity. It says nat gas fuels about 40% of the U.S. power grid and soared to the highest level since 2008 on Tuesday. You see the price for natural gas, in which that's a big to-do as far as what's going on over there in Eurasia as well, because Russia supplies a lot of European countries with natural gas, going into how they, access power, electricity. It says the chart below shows for the 2 decades, real electricity prices were relatively flat, except for the commodity boom times around the 2008 GFC. Now CPI, less energy, has peaked, though electricity continues to rise to a blistering 30% year on year. So 30% increase in electricity prices and bills. So for every $100, add $30. So, if your power bill is typically around $100, it's like $130, per month too, in which there also hasn't been a drastic increase in workers' wages. But shoot, if your electricity bill is normally, $400 a month, it's depending on your size of your house and the efficiency of your units, it could get like that, man. So you add 30% dollar for dollar, and who's to say that these prices won't continue to rise? Because as it shows in the chart, we saw above the price of natural gas is continuing to rise, and it may we may increase as far as a shortage of these commodities. It says because too, man, like it's easier and more profitable for these energy companies, whether they supply the energy or they supply the actual, power source to supply the energy to the consumers. It's easier and more profitable for them to do these things when the prices go up. It's more margin, just off of the fact that the currency is being devalued and the prices go up. All right, it says utility shutoffs have become more common across the U.S. as some lower tier households are thousands of dollars behind on their power bills. Jean Su, a senior attorney at the Center for Biological Diversity, which tracks utility disconnections across the U.S., warned of a tsunami of shutoff as the highest inflation in 40 years eats away wages. See, just said that. As the highest inflation in 40 years eats away wages and has financially devastated the working poor, in which it's a collapse by design. We know, we're aware of that. Now at the same time, there's certain aspects of this economy and of the society that are really out of the control and the hand and grasp of Edom Esau. The so-called white race, white man, white race, and these the heathen leader counterparts, so to speak. But at the same time, this is a controlled collapse, for the most part, too, because they want to collapse things, tighten it up on the people so they can bring forth their wicked agenda. Seeing on, it says, Adrian Nice is one of those struggling Americans who was more than $3,000 behind on utility bills. And how you going to come back for that, man? $3,000 behind on utility bills. It's not even like a credit card, you know what I'm saying, to where, even if it's a credit card, you got a minimum. But once it gets to a certain point on a utility bill, if you can't pay that balance in full or pay significant chunks of that bill, they're gonna cut that thing off, man. All right. It says last month she received the final notice from power company Xcel Energy Inc., who turned off the electricity to her studio apartment in Minneapolis as temperatures approached near triple digits. So she got a final notice and they turned off her electricity and the temperature was 100 degrees, man. And they're not gonna have no mercy on the people. They don't give a damn. They want their money, man. They want their bread, man. All right. It says Nice found it near impossible to save money for utility expenses that have doubled. So even when it said the 30% increase, that's 30% average. But you're gonna have some places where it's gonna be much higher than 30%, which just double. That's a 100% increase. All right. It says Nice found it near impossible to save money for utility expenses that have doubled over the past year as food, shelter, and gas prices have also skyrocketed. Her low-paying job as a house cleaner has left her in energy poverty. That's a new term, man. Energy poverty. It says, I just don't understand how electricity can be so high, she said. Well, that's you can link that with Habakkuk, the second chapter, as far as that laden himself with that thick clay, being the Abachit, man, which is a high level of debt, which that does what? That devalues their currency, the American currency, which makes things more expensive. And then you got the selfish, stingy employers and those who run these companies, these corporate executives, who they squeezing the life out of their employees, but fighting to pay them as little as possible, man, to get the job done, or not even get it done, just get it moved in the direction of getting done. They don't even care that much to even get jobs done. Sometimes they just want the illusion of progress, because it's all a paper game, man. That's why you have a lot of companies too buying back stocks and shares, Because at the end of the day, it's about that stock price. You know what I'm saying? They some of these companies, they can move their stock price up, and make their company more valuable and not even make more money. It's a game. All right, continuing on, it says, across the country, power companies reported a surge in non-payment customers. California PG&E Corp said there had been a 40% jump in the number of residential customers behind on payments since February 2020, a 40% jump. Like we said, like was read earlier, 1 in 6 households are behind on their power bills. So like I said, for every 6 households around you, one of them jokers is behind, man. And like with this woman, that we just spoke about, read about, she $3,000 behind. How's she gonna catch up? It says New Jersey's Public Service Enterprise Group said customers at least 90 days late have risen 30% since March. So now you get into long-term behind this as well. 90 days, that's 3 whole months of being behind on your power bill. All right. And then for us too, man, brothers, we go through our things, man, and being tight, but the fact that we're able to still pay our bills, man, that's something to be appreciative of, man, that the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai is continuing to meet our needs. Yeah, things may get tight, but we, shoot, we're whether we know it or not, we're in a better stead than the majority of these people out here, man. All right. It says, people on the bottom, they can't pay their electricity bills, said Mark Wolf, NIADA's executive director. I'm almost done with the article. It says readers know that low-tier consumers are financially tapped out. They've maxed out credit cards, depleted savings, and have seen wage gains wiped out due to inflation. It comes as no surprise the U.S. is becoming more like Europe, where energy poverty has doomed millions of households. So you got the student loan debt, consumer debt, which go into credit cards, mortgages and houses, and real estate. It's that credit card, cars, But now you got people actually falling behind on their actual day-to-day bills, man, month-to-month bills. All right. It says it's only a matter of time before the Biden administration starts handing out stimmy checks for electricity bills. And hey, I agree, but even with that, man, there's still a lot of people who still waiting on stimmy checks, man. In which, when those checks hit the streets, it's only going to increase the rate of the inflation, man, which is going to make things, it's going to, and we said, decrease the value of the U.S. dollar and make things more expensive. You're going to lose your buying power. All right, but getting to the scripts, man. This is 2 Ezra 16. I start at verse 5. It says, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire and stubble, which it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? And, we understand this is speaking of plagues as a whole, but, as the Most High continues to turn up this judgment and put people in more compromising situations, this pressure is only going to increase. And, a lot of people are so used to running to Edom, Esau, and the federal and state and local governments for help and assistance. There's a lot of people on social programs, man. Whether it be pension funds, working a certain job for 20, 30 years and having a pension. Whether they be retired veterans, whether it be working for the cities as far as policemen and firemen and teachers and stuff like that. There's a lot of people who just on straight up disability or food stamps and Section 8, all these type of things, man. It's a lot of people that's taking advantage of these social programs. So they're relying on Edom Esau in a big and major way, okay, to supply for their needs, man. But as these plagues continue to press down upon the earth, Edom Esau ain't gonna have the answers for that, man. And then even his answers that he do supply are gonna fail, and it's gonna ultimately result in the implementation of the MOTB, man. Okay, and them working to fully implement their New World Order agenda, in which a big part of that is gonna be able to control the resources. Okay, even going into the energy, man. It's happening. We're in the midst of it. All right. Verse 9. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? You see, and the only individuals who are going to be able to escape the plagues, okay, and the judgments and tightness, spiritual tightness that the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing forth is going to be the elect, man. Okay, those are the only individuals who will be saved. The elect, and then in certain situations, certain heathens who are going to be cast into slavery. But you ain't getting saved to be saved. You being preserved to be the first crop of slaves, man. But for us, we understand that we have an opportunity to actually obtain this salvation, man, and to actually not partake in these judgments that are coming down, man. In which, like we say, the article that we just read and covered, that just goes to show that the path that we're on, man. In which these things are only going to get worse and worse. You got people who get ready to get their power cut off, and it's 90, 95, 100 plus degrees, and Lord knows how cold it's going to be this winter, and they're going to have to try to figure out how to survive. All right. Verse 11, the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. I'm going to jump down. To verse 18. Second Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So this is the beginning of sorrows, man, in which a lot of people have been worried about paying and getting caught up on these bills for months, and at this point, years. Like we read in the article, the American households truly fallen behind as far as these certain utility and power payments has really been going back to around February, March 2020 for 2 years. This has been on the spirits and the minds of these people, man, as far as what they're going to do, how they're going to make these ends meet. And what's going to happen next? That like we read here, the famine, great death, wars, all these things. We seen it happen right before our face, Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. You see what I'm saying? So, in the midst of all this, that's why we continue to repent, okay, and work to please the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because we understand that these are particular instances that are happening, okay, because the Most High is calling the elect of the nation of Israel to really, truly, trust in Him and His power to bring forth and continue this judgment, but to also bring forth a great level and a great experience, in instance of salvation, man. With the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. So I hope that this lesson was edifying. Once again, before I close out, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles and my elders of Great Millstone who lead, teach, and rule well. Love and honor to my fellow I can push the word in truth, faith, and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom, peace and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers of the men and doctrine of Great Millstone. Lord willing, you've been edified. Until next time, Shalom.